In this video, we'll continue discussing some time value concepts. And in general, we're going to look at an example, if you will, of how we can utilize the time value of money to answer a very important question, right? We want to know something about the future. How are we going to plan for retirement? So, of course, we can estimate the future value from savings. We can estimate annual savings to get a future amount, right? We can also look at how time can help us maybe to motivate ourselves a little bit as far as savings. Again, all of these are to set goals for some of us to provide a little bit of motivation, right? For some of us that are a little bit older to maybe scold ourselves a little bit for not starting a little bit earlier. But we want to talk again about time, right? How is it going to impact our decision making? So we're going to look at, again, a retirement plan. So what is it that we need to know? There are videos, by the way, that are available to talk about retirement planning and how to calculate that. But essentially, we need to know what? We need to know how much should I attempt to accumulate in savings for a future point in time. That is, how much money will I need when I get to retirement? Say I want to retire when I'm age 65. How much money will I need when I retire so that when I live after that in retirement, I can live the way I think I want to live? And then, of course, the next question then is, how do I get from today to there on either a monthly or annual basis as far as what I save? So let's go through this example and see if we can talk our way through. Let's assume you make $50,000. You've been able to save $5,000 in retirement already. You're going to retire at age 65. And let's assume that inflation is expected to be 3% for the foreseeable future. You're currently 25 years old. So how you calculate N, a couple of ways. Number one, this is told, you're told it's 40 years. But if you said 65 minus 25, that's 40. That's how you find the N for most of these examples. So the question then is, if you make $50,000 now, how much will you need in retirement to maintain your current lifestyle? So the negative $50,000 is today's money. It's going to grow at 3% inflation for 40 years. It says here that in the future, you're going to need $163,000 to live exactly the way you live right now. And this is a little bit strange. It's a little bit hard to absorb, right? But essentially, these two numbers are equal. $50,000 today is equal to $163,000 in 40 years. Or it's another way, in 40 years, you'll need $163,000 to buy what $50,000 buys today. So do you think this is true? I mean, do you think that this example showing, because that's a big number, right? Isn't it kind of hard to imagine that in retirement you'll need you'll need 3 times more money per year in retirement than you need today? It's kind of hard to absorb. So let's see, how are we going to get there, right? How much money will I need at the end of my work life so that I can withdraw $163,000 a year? So here's the question, right? If you live to be 90, so 90 minus 65 is 25 years. Let's say that you can earn 8% during retirement, right? How much money will you need to achieve, right, to get, to invest to receive this 163? So the 163,000 is positive because in retirement you're going to receive that. So the answer down below here is the present value of an ordinary annuity says you're going to need $1.7 million in retirement. Again, I know it sounds like a huge number, but bear with me. I think there's some light at the end of the tunnel. The other question we say here, well, maybe we're a little worried about inflation because, 25 years is going to beat up this money, right? So if you place in here for the growth of an annuity, we want this annuity to grow with inflation, 3% a year. How much will you need? Now down below here, see the present value of a growing annuity, $2.2 million. So if you're concerned about inflation, you might need as much as $2.2 million. Not so concerned, $1.7 million. So let's assume we use this bigger number, right? The 2.2 million. So the next question then is, how do we get this amount of money? So let's go to the next slide. So here we need 2.2 million is what we need. And we're going to assume that you can earn 10% on your money during your work years. You'll probably be able to be a little bit more risky, etc. But 10% for 40 years. Again, we're going to ask the question about monthly payments. So we have to change our compounding frequency to 12. So this says to get $2.2 million, you need to invest $315 a month. Now, again, 2.2 sounds pretty big, but $315 a month doesn't sound all that big. In fact, if you work for a company that matches your money, they might match dollar for dollar. So you only need half of that, right? Roughly what, $160 a month is what you need to invest. The company invests the other $160. I guess it's roughly $320, obviously. That would get you $2.64 million. Right? What would the payments be for that lower amount? I mean, you can do this calculation. Just plug in that 1.7 million number here, and you'll find out that you'd only need $232 a month. So what are we currently doing? So here's another application here. Currently, we're putting away $300 a month. 150 is ours, and 100 the company matches 100%. So what return will I need to get to my retirement goal? Now, this is pretty close to what the number is. So when you plug in negative 300, so we're going to make $300 a month payments, you need to earn 10.12% on an average basis in order to achieve your goal. What might have thrown some kibosh, right, might have messed us up a little bit is what would have happened if we needed to put away $500 a month and we were only investing $300. At 10%, that means we're going to have to get a higher rate of return if we're going to get to our same goals. So this can help us make some decisions. Am I putting away enough? Are my goals too big? Right? For that lower amount, remember to get the 1.7 million here, I'd only have to earn an interest rate of about 9.28. And you notice what? 9.28 is less than the 10 I'm having here. So that means I don't have to earn 10%. I can earn less and still get to the 1.7 million. So again, these are the kinds of questions that we can answer when we think about time value of money and financial planning. It's referred to as the mathematics of finance. See you in the next video.